today I really want to get to talking about the retirement. So it's important for us to, get our minds up to that point, so that we can have a better understanding about, how it relates to us. Let me know when you can see my screen.
I see it.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the power of residual income in retirement. The real question we all need to understand or need to get grasp of is what is our number? So everybody on the call tonight is an NWR associate. If you're not, then I hope you are by the by the end of this meeting. But today we're going to be talking about the power of residual income. The video that you just watched basically breaks down the fact that the 401k was never meant. The 401k was never meant to be one for all means for retirement. If anybody on the call thought that, if you talking to anybody that actually believes that, please let them know tactfully that that's not what it was created for. It was created as a means to add to your own retirement. It was never to replace, business owners from actually contributing. But once business owners was able to see that it was more cost effective to match or to do percentages on a 401k rather than to provide pensions, hey, it just made sense for business owners to save more money and put the ownership back on the employees. But it is very, very, very important for us to understand that we must take control of our retirement. I'm 36 years old. Thinking about retirement is new to me. However, I understand that if I had taken the time to focus on that earlier in my military career, because I am active duty military, I'd be further along in getting that done rather than, where I am now. Now, with NWR Financial, I've positioned myself really well to be prepared for retirement when it comes. That's what the private reserve account is for. That's what land banking, that's what the real estate capital contributor venture is all about, because now we're able to focus on basically getting our retirement money at workforce early. All right, so now that I got my slides downloaded properly, let me go ahead and share my screen. Feel free to ask any questions as we go along. I'm gonna keep it in short view mode so I can keep an eye on where I was at. So, what's your number? How many of us on the call tonight have actually looked at our number? How many of us have actually asked ourselves what that number is? See, I noticed on several calls that I'm on with Mr. Ivory that he constantly asks, okay, you're thinking about the business. What would be your number for quitting your job? What would get you off your job to where you no longer work for anyone again? And a lot of people say, oh, well, I think about, and they say X amount of number, and it's usually pretty low, which means um, the goal with your NWR business is pretty fairly easy to accomplish within 1 year if you put in the work, if you keep good records. Um, I have not heard too many people say I want to be making $50,000 a month or more than six figures a year, i.e., six figures anywhere from 100 to $200,000 a year. So it's important that you focus on that end goal. And whatever you want your annual salary to be, you need to add a zero to that. You definitely got to add a zero to that in order for it. So what that means is if I'm currently making, like I think I'm currently making, I'm a CW2 United States military. I'm currently making about $80,000 myself, $80,000 gross a year. Now we all know about gross and net. So if you don't know, I'll say go back, stop leaving money on the table, go back and see more of our trainings. But we all know that the gross and the net are basically the difference. What's the difference between the two is taxes, taxes, and more taxes. So my gross is 80. I'm probably bringing home roughly around 60. And then, of course, you have, the kids. We don't have debt anymore, but you have expenses every month that basically takes out the rest of that $60,000 a year. And believe it or not, we spending over 2,000 in food. I had 6 kids, ladies and gentlemen, 2 teenagers. So, uh, yeah, it's a lot of money. But let me get back to the slides and we go move through. Anybody got any testimonies on that one? All right. So, moving on. Question is, when would you like to retire? For me, with the investment deal that we got into, I'm really ready to retire at any day. I want to definitely set myself up with a good private reserve account. But within the next 5 years, definitely within the next five, I want to be retired. Ask yourself that question: when do you want to be retired? Cloville, I know we we knocking on the door like you going to work every day with the things you have going on personally, but with work itself, it's like, hey, that there's not an answer on here that fits your schedule because you ready to go ASAP. But we really have to ask ourselves that question, and I would say even ask your prospects that question because a lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people, and I can only relate to the military because this has been a non-stop job ever since I got out of high school for me. But if you have different experiences, please come off mute and share. Feel free to get on camera as well. But understand this: I've spent my whole adult life in the military, and when I talk to people that are in the military, they say they're doing their 20 years and then they're retired, but no one ever talks about and then what. The and then what is after you retire, what are you going to do? Bottom line is, I've not met too many people that leave the military and they're living their life the way they want to live it, meaning they are actually retired. They're living on the beaches. They're living, not going to work. They're living their life, and they have the financial backing to do whatever they want to do. I see, oh, I'm going to work a GS 11, I'm a GS 12, 13, and higher job that I was able to get because of all the years I spent in the military. And being a part of Extra Digit Movement, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to leave the military and actually leave the military, not just be around the military if I don't want to. Of course, I want to continue to help soldiers, but that's what I want to do. I shouldn't. When you retire, it shouldn't be because you have to work. You understand what I'm saying? I will encourage you when you talk to people that are near retirement age, and they already know that they're not going to be able to retire fully. I mean, what's the difference between retirement and retire fully? I mean, you're getting a check, either you don't have to go to work or you do. That's what I'm going to say. So either you're fully retired or you're still working. You moved on to a different career late in life, is what I would say. So it's important to know your number, but it's also important to know the date that you desire to retire on. Okay. And what's your plan to achieve that goal? If it's just going to work every day and doing your 9 to 5, that's not going to cut it because 30% of your income is being taken out in taxes. If you have a home that you're still paying on, your mortgage is still coming out of your check. Too much stuff is coming in the outgo section of your life to where you can retire easily within the next 1 to 10 years uh, without a goal. You have to have a plan in order to get it done. And with MWR Financial, we give you a goal and a date, a millionaire date, a debt-free date. The question really to decipher the date that you want to get retire or leave your job is how much money do you need monthly. We can say annually, but let's break it down to the months. See, right now I get paid anywhere about 7,000 gross per month. I would say in order for me to walk away from my job right now, I need to be making 10,000. 10,000. Because if I had no government backing, the benefits that I have right now, minimum, I would think that $3,000 gap would cover that. $7,000, I don't believe we use all of that, uh, responsibly, so we can cut back. But $10,000 is the bare minimum that I would need per month. What is your bare minimum? Now, think about it. If I'm going to quit my job, I definitely don't need to be living scraping pennies. I left a job because I was making the money that I said I needed, but I'm still scraping pennies. No. So think about that. if you want to live the life that you can truly sit back and say, I'm happy with, what is that number? And what is your plan to receive that monthly income right now? Even with NWR, if we're not focused on that debt free date, getting that debt down as soon as possible, how can we expect to build up to that millionaire date quicker? You can't do it quicker if you're not focused. You know, they give us the date, but that date fluctuates with what we do. It's your plan of action that gets it done with the expert's guidance. And that's what I like. It's back on you. You know, to become a millionaire, you have to fix you. The experts are going to do their job by giving us the plan, giving us the tools, showing us the best options. But at the end of the day, we have to click that button. At the end of the day, we have to transfer those funds. We have to pay the right bill at the right time, like they're telling us to beat that compound interest. And ultimately, we have to know what our number is, and we have to let them know. See how much money you need to save versus your desired monthly income. See, savings will only take you so far. You know, we've always been taught that, you know, you need to save, but really we what we need to do is invest. We need to save what we can by taking our tax dollars up front with a home-based business, but we definitely need to make sure that we are investing. See, what is our plan? What is your plan to accumulate the wealth that you desire? If I'm focusing more, see, I can talk about me. I can talk about me. If I'm focusing more about going to Phillips Seafood every day and eating my money away rather than putting that same dollars away into an investment vehicle, then I'm still hurting myself. I can be further along. You know, as a younger people on the line or the younger people watching this replay, it's important to start now because as a young person, you have minimal to no debt. So every dollar you make can be invested and you allow that compound interest to build up to where when you're 30, 40 years old, you're light years ahead of everybody else in your class and some of your relatives that are older than you because compound interest has a way I mean, it just loves youth. When you start earlier, it builds faster. Not saying that the people on here that are older, more seasoned, can't start. It's always important to get started, but what's even more important is to keep going. And so when you have that goal, keep going. Figure that plan out. And so I'm gonna go through this slide. See, look at this. To generate $200 per month in residual income during your retirement years, this is how much you have to have in the bank. I'll let you go ahead and screenshot that if you want to. What's important to understand is on the left are interest rates that most of us don't see anywhere. We don't see them anywhere because we don't make enough money to see these type of gains in a savings account. Definitely not in the bank. But where you can see this is on a couple of websites that Mr. Brian Bean actually mentioned. I'm not going to throw them out there because I'm not a certified financial consultant. But there are places where you can find some of these percentages, these interest rates. But looking to the right, you have to have that much money in those accounts. And if you're just starting off and you have debt, you definitely got to fix debt first. See, a wealthy person will never tell you to invest before you get out of debt because you always have that debt eating up your capital. So you got it. That's why our program is so awesome because they focus on the debt elimination strategy by first taking you through the tax advantages of reducing and minimizing your taxes so that you can get that money back in your check so you can conquer your debt faster. See, it's important to understand that. But $200 a month, that's $120,000 in the bank at 2%. None of us on here, you can't even pay a phone bill completely for $200 a month. With some providers, let alone a mortgage and all the other utilities. So let's jump down to let's get out of the $200 a month. But think about it: $24,000 in a savings account and a bank account at 10%. You're not going to get to 10%. So let's give you the lowest possible interest rate on this screen, and that's 2% at 120. You got to have 120,000 first. You got to have it at 2%. Let's say $600 for my people that are earning residually $600 a month. We don't even have $360,000 at 2%, but we're earning this a month already. So think about that. I don't have 360,000, but I'm making $600 a month, $20 a day right now. But if I did uh, try to bank on a retirement account, retirement income, I would have to have 360,000 at 2%, or $72,000 at 10%. For most people, $72,000 is a year. Basically, they went to work for a full year, didn't saved up somehow. That's not possible. Maybe you saved up a quarter of that each year, and now you have $72,000, but you still need to get a 10% interest rate in order to have $600 coming in. $1,000. This is $1,000 per month. We're getting better, but this is not enough. Raise your hand if raise your hand if this is enough. This is not enough. $1,000 for me right now? No, I already told you $2,000 go to these kids eating all this food. $3,000. Okay, we getting better, but remember my base pay is at 7,000 right now. So no, that ain't good enough. But screenshot the numbers if this is your ballpark. If this is the number that you think you good with. I would say even think about this. If 4,000, 6,000 is a number that's good for you, and you and your spouse or you and your roommate or whoever you domicile with makes an additional whatever, well, think about this. What if something happens to you? Will that still be enough to retire on as a household? See, I have 6 kids right now, but I also have a wife. So if something happens to me, that's good enough until I'm gone. But is it enough to keep her going while I'm gone? Was it enough? And like Nico just said, what about inflation? We ain't even got to that yet. I'm not there yet, Nico. We're not talking about inflation. But Nico said I need 1.2 million, making 10% to give me $10,000 a month. That's huge. Now you have strategy. You have a starting point. What you need. It's important to know where we have to start. $5,000 per month. That's what we're looking like. We're still not where I need to be. 8,500. Now I'm getting closer to what I have. So I would need, if I was to use the banking system, I would need a minimum of $5.1 million at 2%. And that's if the banks were giving me 2%. Right now, the banks are giving us 0.01. If you have that kind of money, I think we looked at one of our Zooms. We had, you made 1.2, you're able to get 0.2%. So this is not even realistic when you're talking about a bank. See, we're talking about amount in the bank. It's not even realistic. $10,000 per month. So here it is, Nico. If you know $10,000 per month, $1.2 million. You did that math quick. I'm gonna need you to come out here and do these numbers. You jumped ahead. Oh, you just looking at the slide on the left. I got you. I got you. Clovell said not even close being enough. Adding plans after his graduation for children. Yep. You definitely got to think about the whole family after graduation, after babies, grandchildren, things of that nature, because a good man builds an inheritance for his children's children. So you got to understand that those come into play. So let's talk about the perfect business. The perfect business. This is Mr. Covey. Basically, you got a lot of different network marketers basically saying network marketing gives you the ability, the time freedom, and the resources to become wealthy in a way that your residual income can outpace all of the all of these basically problems associated with how much interest, the bank is only willing to give up. And we can talk about how the banks get rich off our dollars more so than helping us out. But that's a whole nother class. So keep in mind in network marketing, there's no employees. You don't really have an inventory, especially with NWR Financial. There's no accounts payable, and everything you make is net. So it's important to understand that. Uh, and here we go. MWR Financial is the perfect business because we have in the extra digit movement alone people from all walks of life. Uh, when you have diversity, and the military does this well, when you have diversity, you're able to build organizations better. Of course, there's going to be tension because you have different viewpoints coming together, but it also builds the best framework for getting something done. When you combine all these different entrepreneurs we have in our organization, and we're all dropping nuggets, and we're all talking about finances and how to improve, it only goes up. Business meets you right where you are. So you may have somebody who's done network marketing before, somebody who's never done it. I've done some other network marketing companies, but never quite like this. We have people on our team that's never done network marketing before because they always thought it was a thing, but now they're network marketers. You have people on our team, military background, educational background, fresh out of high school and college background. So there's all different types. All of our core services have predictable results, meaning if you follow the plan of action, getting your documents and your uploads to the experts, you will reap the rewards of their expertise. If you follow the plan of action for the business strategy and follow the steps, you will reap business results. There's no license, there's no test taking for our organization, which could be good and bad. Because sometimes, when you're dealing with people, you're like, man, why don't you understand how to do this? And that's just the difference when working with a lot of different people. The W-2 employees, what I like about it is that you can turn your job, the capital from your job, and use that to invest into your business. So uh, now your business is funded by your job, but it also is funded by the government with our tax strategy, and you get earned guaranteed income. Think about this: for everybody that has 3 people enrolled under their team and a customer, outside customer, you have guaranteed income coming on as long as you meet that requirement. Whether it's only 3 people and one customer throughout the entire time within MWR, you're guaranteed residual income. And the goal for our team, the Extra Digital Movement, is to get to that $600 a month mark. And then the services. You can't beat the services. You're not in business by yourself, but you are in business for yourself, and you can leverage your way all the way to financial independence part time. See, that's important to understand because everybody on here has a job, has some other kind of occupation, but 80% of Americans have less than perfect credit. Um, Over 94% of Americans are not aware of our private reserve account. And we just showed a video about retirement and 401k. We're about to go into hyperinflation right now, and Social Security is about to deplete for most of us that are probably going to be trying to look for it come retirement age. So it's important to know what you have. This deals with posture. Again, no inventory. We don't sell anything. You get to work from home, and you don't have to leave your job to start this business. You can share, encourage, and direct your way all the way up the top of the compensation plan. All you have to do is share your testimony. I can't stress this enough. As soon as you start sharing your testimony, people will start believing that you have more credibility associated with our organization because they see your testimony. See, a lot of people come in and say, well, I need to get my testimony first before I share this with anybody. There's over thousands of testimonies. If we're friends and you're sharing my testimony and I'm a real person, you can basically be the defining point and say, hey, look, this is my friend. I know him 12 years. I know this person. I've physically met this person. Their story is real. I know them. You can share my testimony, and that's all you need. People say they need that testimony to be theirs, but think about it. Most people who start weight loss programs, they know someone else's before they even tell their own. They're in the process of becoming, but they're telling your story. Well, my friend Nikwa, she was able to do X, Y, Z. So if it worked for her, I believe it could work for me. It's that simple. Encourage your prospects to join you in business. It's not them working for you. New directors, they rank up, they level up more and more when you help them succeed in their own goals, not your own personal goals. And you want to walk your directors through every step of the way as much as possible. Some people, they just don't want to. They don't want to they don't want to extend their hand to be held. They want to do it on their own, and that's okay. But understand we have a system, and what you need to do to win with NWR Financial is already spelled out. So, lastly, teamwork makes the dream work. You got to have focus. You got to follow one course until success is achieved. And if you follow in the Extra Digit Movement plan of action, with NWR is start, share, and stay. That's what you want to do. You want to start your services. You want to share your testimonies. You definitely want to plug in by staying. This is one of the most powerful sayings that Mr. Ndamo Tosin says every time. You want to be on the beaches of the world. And at the at the NWR Bank, they don't just count our money; they weigh it. So hey, this is me. This has been a great training. I think so because I got excited just by sharing it. Come off